So took a little time off. I kind of just wanted to focus on my trading, focus on the second business, get caught up on some schoolwork. Um, and this isn't a psychology video. This is gonna be trade recap, from like Monday through today, which is Wednesday. Um, but that's a big thing. You kind of gotta you have to prioritize what's working for you, and you have to you just absolutely have to kind of take breaks from other things that aren't as important to you and aren't as what's the word I want to use, like necessary to your success. I wanted to look for a better word, but that's what we're gonna go with. Sometimes you have to take breaks from stuff like that, to refocus and spend more energy and time on what you're doing. I have a 40-ounce jug of iced coffee right now. I don't want to talk about it, but no. So yeah, I'll get I'll get my actual MetaTrader 5 up here right now. My goal is to kind of bang these out and then hopefully have time for another video before I go to sleep. But no matter what, I'm not trading off of I'm not trading tomorrow if I get no sleep tonight. But no, okay. So what's the first day of the week? Like the third, maybe? Okay. So Monday, we lost 600, then we made 1,200. Monday, we were just a little premature on the trade idea the first time around, but no. So we blah blah blah. Tuesday, we lost 400, and I just hopped off market because I was fucking pissed. Not with myself or trading, I just hated the market. I wasn't really pissed. I was just like, damn, this is kind of shit market structure, so I'm not even about to touch it. Which that's a big thing. You can't revenge trade. I just took my loss and I was kind of like, this price action's kind of ass. I don't really want to get back in today. And I was tired from the night before, but no. And then today, lost 100, made 100, then made 800. So as of right now for the week, we have 600 bucks there, then minus 4. So right now we're banging about 1,200, I think. Not bad. Tomorrow we'll probably have a good day. Usually Thursdays are pretty good. And then Fridays, for me, this is kind of how my week goes. Monday can kind of go either way. Tuesday, I'm usually locked in. Wednesday, I'm usually locked in. Thursday, I'm usually locked in. Obviously, this depends on news and stuff, but this is what I've noticed with my trading. And then Friday, I'm if I trade, it'll usually be profitable, but I'm not gonna lie, I will often not trade on Fridays. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's liquidity tapering off for the week or what, but all the time I'll open up market Friday and I've already made 3 to 5K for the week. And I'll see dog shit price action, an accumulation zone, and I'll just be like, there's no point in fucking trading on those. But no. Okay, so let's get into this. Monday, my scroll wheel feels really fucking weird. I don't like that a lot. Okay, so I've been using separate charts for y'all so that whenever I do upload the trade recaps, I actually have it on here for y'all. So very high time frame was bearish, high time frame bearish, medium time frame bearish. Pretty much everything was bearish. We exceeded the 79% retrace zone. When did we? Fuck, I'm gonna have to go so far back on my fucking chart. You guys are fucking lucky. I love y'all. Okay, so that was what, the third, or was that the third? Okay, so right here. So then we got another break of structure. So we had this 79, 62% direct fill right to this other liquidity. So we entered a $1,000 position, I believe. Let me check. Yeah, so we entered on this. Loki, no. So at first we entered, I think, let me make sure I'm right here. Shit. Okay. So we entered on this. We're kind of wish-washy because I was really thinking we were going to fill into this zone, but this was where our break of structure, well, we had a triple bearish candle. So we took that, um, set our stop loss here, and then we saw this, slight break of structure. So we got out there, we lost like 600. And then after we got another break of structure to the downside, once we exceeded this point, we opened another sell position. Stop loss up there. We were only on $1,000 position because I was really expecting fucking I was really expecting market to retrace into one of these further liquidity zones. Looking back, I probably should have entered a $2,000 position and then upped it to 3K if we made it up here. But anyways, and that's what I'll do if this situation ever plays out again. But I mean, microstructure, literally everything was bearish. So after this break of structure, if you just have an idea of where market's going to go to, and then you just push the sell button, you're making fucking money. Like this week has been so easy for fucking trading. I haven't made big money this week, but all the money I've made this week has been so fucking easy, dude. So this was an easy trade. Every single bias was bearish. Maybe a little too much coffee. Anyways, so no. So we partialed. I think first partial we took here because it wasn't even about the partial. We took a very slight partial, like maybe $100, but I was kind of worried about this trend line here because there was a chance we would bounce bullish up here, and once again that further retrace, which we did get later on in the day. So I moved my stop loss to break even here because I was like, if anything, I just won't trade for the day. That's fine. Because that's one of the psychological struggles I have is I like I won't move my stop loss to break even, and then I'll just watch, like I'll just, even after it invalidates, which I haven't done this in a while and I've gotten better at this, but one of my more recent psychological struggles that probably last time I did it was like a month ago, so I've learned better now, but I I move my stop loss very tight now because I used to, even if my trade idea got invalidated, instead of cutting my losses, I would literally wait for it to wick me out. So instead of losing like 300, $400 like I did Monday on an invalidation, I would be losing 2K every time. But no. So now we might start giving our stop losses some more room now that we're more disciplined with our invalidations, because a micro BOS will invalidate my trade idea every time. But no. So took a partial there just to get our psychology on for the rest of the trade. Then we had a technical break of structure here, so we took another partial, but I thought we were gonna go lower, so I didn't fully close. Fucking right at the 62% like mid-range extension, we took another partial here. And that was smart, whatever. I think we closed out like half of our remaining position. And then we were actually really smart here. We saw that this wick came pretty close to this 127%, because if if we're like trending like this very obviously and it's not like a direct shot down, like if we're coming up to this, then most likely you're going to extend 127% or less. But we took like a third of our remaining position at that 62%. We took a third of our position at this like 100%, and then we took the other third on the actual sort of once we got like, I was actually very smart for some reason, and this is gonna sound like I'm bullshitting, but I'll low key. I can't show you this shit as some of my banking information, but no, I sold right at like the close price of this candle. Somehow I just, like, this is gonna sound like I'm bullshitting, but between this long ass wick and shit, I pretty much just like somehow knew we were gonna go up, and then we did. So that was a good trade. Is Tuesday's trade on this graph? Wait, my fucking, holy shit. Fucking mouth is dry as shit there. But no. And then we also had news, so we were kind of keeping that in mind, making sure to close our position before that news hit. Oh, shit. It's nice being able to finally clear my charts off. That's the one thing I like making this shit for y'all. And that's why I haven't been uploading like the last few days. Because the way I think about it, if I start at like 9, like technically I like to be sleeping by like 10. So technically I could do one video, but almost every time I record a video, it's just like I get fucking not addicted, but I just want to keep recording more and more videos for y'all. Um, but this downside liquidity has sort of been taken out. So I'm thinking if anything, we're gonna shift to something bullish. But what was our Tuesday trade on? I might have Loki. I might have been mad that I lost there, and I might have just cleared out the entire trade. Not gonna lie. Oh, okay. So this was 2039. The 200 and then 390. Damn, we moved a lot in one day. No, we didn't. Okay, I was gonna say that would be a little crazy, that much movement. Like 390. Hmm. What the fuck? That's the one thing I hate. I hate how this just like isn't on the right time frame at all. Okay, so we're still moving down here. I think it's right after this one, I would assume. Nope, because why would we be trading at 5? Let's use some fucking common sense here. Okay, so no, it was relatively after that. Damn, we were on early for this shit then. In that case, we were right in here was where we were trading. So, we were in a. This is mainly what did it for me, to be honest with you. If we expand this to the 50s, you can see we're sort of in an accumulation ranging zone. So, I basically just like I saw. What's it there? So I had gym class, so I couldn't trade first period. And then second period, what I would have liked to get in on was this BOS. But then we also broke structure with this candle. So we still got a really late entry. I entered on this candle, which I wouldn't have liked to do. And then um we had our stop. Damn, so I shouldn't have gotten wicked out of this. So we had that break of structure there. And then I obviously I don't have this shit showing up on my chart right now, but I'd assume our like take profit area would have been at around 120% extension. So that would have been like an area of interest, or like that 120%, or like this 120%. And then I don't know. I guess the next one would be like right up here, another 120%. So that was likely our take profit, but somehow I must have had some slippage on this position or something because I didn't even close out this position. This is the one part I do remember. I basically just got in like in this range. I hit a sell like on whatever was like sort of break of structure here. So I think I hit a sell right here, and then it was like 500. Yeah, that's weird. For some reason I got kicked out of my position then because I had if I entered off this the way I trade, I just know even without like without even looking at where my stop loss is, just looking at where I got wicked out, I know for a fact I would have used this micro break of structure as a stop loss point, and this candle didn't hit that, so I must have gotten slipped out of my position there. So technically, I obviously like I am not one to make excuses, but I must have gotten wicked out of this because I didn't manually close. I know that for a fact. So yeah, I must have gotten wicked out of this, but our trade idea was actually valid. So think about that. Even the trades I lost, I didn't actually lose. Sorry, that sounds so egotistical, but no. Unfortunately, all that matters is what shows up on my bank account statement. So clearly, so even if I was right, according to the bank, I wasn't. So therefore, I wasn't. And that's kind of a hard truth you got to get into if you're trading. Is that regardless if you're right or wrong, whatever the bank says goes. Don't try to send a complaint to your prop firm or your broker or anything, because they don't listen. They just make up some bullshit excuse because I've had this slippage. This is the fifth time this has happened, and they don't fucking. All they say is you didn't have a stop loss or you didn't have a take profit. They just lie. But no, I'm kind of shit talking my broker. I feel bad, but no. So learn that. I think this is here for no fucking reason, to be quite honest. But okay, we definitely did not trade on that late in the day. Okay, so trade today was pretty decent. Basically we had like a little trade here. I think we entered on like this big break of structure, or at least I thought that's what we did. Yeah, we did. Did we? Oh no, I guess not. So 4-9. Yeah, I guess we did. Okay, so we entered on this large time frame break of structure, followed by this, because I would have liked, if I was entering on this, y'all know how I trade at this point, so obviously I would have liked to have entered on some sort of retracements, like somewhere around here, but we didn't get that, so we did like a smaller position, like $1,000. We entered on this continuation structure. We got a micro BOS after the larger time frame BOS, and then we basically got out. I saw I was like up $100 or $200, and I saw news was going to drop within like 10 minutes. So I just got out of my position because I didn't want to hold it through news. Then that news was bearish or bullish. So then, after that, we got in another position. We waited for the actual 10 a.m. news to hit, but then after it hit, the news came out bullish. So this is something you also got to learn. It goes beyond strategy. So obviously we're already in bullish, and I know I tell y'all not to trade on news. And usually I wouldn't trade on this, but you can kind of see the news came out as bullish. Like, it was literally good for GBP currency. And then you also saw this reinforced bias of this long ass bullish candle, and then we're also already bullish. So this is one of those days where if you just click the buy button, you will make money. Obviously you need somewhat good of an entry, but if you just hit the fucking buy button, you will make money. So between the news this is like very high confluence. This honestly might be the highest confluence trade I've taken, because multiple time frame analysis makes sense. We went down. The last time we went low was a lower area. We have like all our liquidity concepts, break of structure, and then it's also literally backed by the news, which is the one thing that can fuck up your trade even if it's really good. So like I said, this is the one case scenario where if you just hit the buy button, you'll make money. But no. So we entered our position like right here, as you can kind of see right here, and then partial number one, I think my position was worth like a band at this point. So off of this potential rejection, we didn't really like that, so we closed like $400, moved our stop loss to break even, and then we watched it go up. We took another, did we? No. Okay, so we took another partial, at this kind of, it looked similar, kind of like a break of structure, but it wasn't anything crazy. And then we also, this makes no sense stalling out here. Like, obviously it's between 38 and 62%. So I'm sure if I put in the effort, I would have seen some sort of liquidity here, but we were going off of a break of structure anyways. So it didn't really matter because we weren't going to take a partial there without a break of structure. So it didn't really matter if there was liquidity there or not. So took a partial there. And then we took a partial because of that big ass wick. And we took a partial, up here off of this, like, further kind of rejection, little break of structure. And then we full closed the rest of our position at the end of this candle right here, because that was like a solid break of structure. You can see it exceed this low by quite a bit. And that was a good trade. That was like 800. I'd have liked a little bit more of a deeper retracement. That's why I didn't risk more, because I was worried about a deeper retracement. And then that's also why I would have made more money if we had the deeper retracement. So I didn't leverage a shit ton of money, but overall, I'm happy with it. definitely not like mad about it at all. I'll take it, and we'll kind of see what the rest of the week does. Based off of this, until we go up into this zone, I'm really expecting bullish, which overnight, if anything, what I'm thinking is, so we can definitely clear that out because that's not going to be any liquidity there. If we actually prove this downtrend here, which we sort of had, it's kind of just a double low right now. So I'm thinking we'll bounce up off of this double low, maybe go into this zone, and then probably in the same sense, we'll I just wanted to get the pop-up off my screen. But if anything, we'll probably bounce off that, assuming price stops there. We'll probably go directly back down, small rejection off of here, and then we'll probably go here, and then technically we're in bearish market structure, but I think we're going to bounce off this, and I think we're going to create a higher high up here, honestly. I completely believe that we're going to go into bullish market structure because the thing that I've been talking about for like literally the last month, maybe even longer. So that's annoying. That's not where I want that. But the thing I've been talking about for like the last month or longer, that massive liquidity void, down there is cleared out. This like 62-79% retracement, this massive liquidity gap, we completely filled that. So I think there someone could make a pretty large bias that we're going to take that high, and go into an uptrend for at least a little bit, maybe until like we fill some higher, like all-time high liquidity, like somewhere up here. 62-79% extension of somewhere up here, or not extension, but retrace. But that's just a guess. Ultimately, it's going to depend on if we take this high or not. If we go into this zone and then we retrace and make a lower low than this, then we're going to still obviously be downtrend. And then if we take this high, we're thinking immediately uptrend. And I'm honestly, if we take this high, we'll either go to 62-79% extension. That's probably most likely outcome, or we'll go for new all-time highs. And that's really just going to depend. But I'm going to end this here.